Yo, hello, it's Revy here, and in today's video I will be showing you guys how to make the Matrix Skull visualizer you guys saw in the beginning. And if you guys want to support me, I have a website, feel free to check that out. I have some editing packs there that could make your editing faster and better. And yeah, let's get right into this tutorial here. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is my composition settings. I'm using FHD with 24 FPS here. So the first thing we're going to do is to make a solid layer here. So you're going to right click here, go to new, solid, and then here make a solid layer. Just like that. And here we're going to add a effect called Element 3D. And when you have added it, you're going to open up Scene Setup here. And here you're going to import a 3D skull model, which is going to be linked in the description, so you guys can go download that. So yeah, import it first. So when you have imported your skull, it should look something like this here. And you can go to orientation here and change the rotation of the skull. So I'm going to set it at 90 degrees here, so you can see it like this. You're going to go to this view mode here and change it to this one here. And when you open the skull here, you get the parts of the skull, and we're going to be right clicking on the jaw here and then press auxiliary animation and set it to channel 1. And for the lower teeth, so we're going to right click as well here, auxiliary animation, and set it to channel 2, so we can animate those parts later. And after that, we're going to be adding a texture here. So we're going to open up materials. I'm going to use Pro Shaders 2. Go to metal and then choose metal black chips. You don't need to use Pro Shaders. You could use normal physical chrome or something like that. It's up to you. But this is what I'm going to use now. And then we're done here. So you're going to press OK. And now we're going to start animating our skull here. So we're going to open up group 1. You can open up particle looks and particle replicator. We're going to use those later, but for now we're going to be using IUX channels. And then open up channel 1 and then channel 2. Open up rotation for both of them and open up the layer here as well. And here we can go up first to particle size and increase the size here of the skull. And we're going to basically animate the mouth here. So we're going to start keyframing the on X rotation on channel 1 here, and the rotation X here on the channel 2 as well. And then you can go just further in to the animation and set the rotation to 30 here on the channel 1, 30, so the jaw opens. You can see the teeth is still there, so we have to add a rotation here as well, and we're going to set that one to 50. So now you guys can see the mouth opens up like that. And we're going to go further into the clip, and here go back to 0 on both of them, go even more further in, and here set this rotation to 20, and for the channel 2 to 35. And the reason why I have a different degree of a jaw opening, I guess, like a mouth opening, is because I don't think in real life you don't have your mouth open the same angle all the time when you're laughing. I don't know if that makes sense, but I wanted to make it more realistic so it doesn't look so stiff and animated. Then go even more further in, set it back to 0, both here. And from then on, we are going to be looping all of these keyframes here. So you're going to mark all of them, press Ctrl C, Ctrl V. So it starts again. And this also looks very unrealistic. So I'm going to make it random, these keyframes here. So I'm going to mark maybe these, set it maybe something like that. And now when we have made it a little bit more realistic, when it's a little bit more random, you can mark all of the keyframes here, press F9 to ease them to making a little bit more smoother animation here. And now you can mark them again, Ctrl C and then Ctrl V here. So now our skull animation looks something like this, and it looks at least a little bit realistic. And now when we are done with this laughing animation of the skull, we're going to be animating the rest of the skull basically. So we're going to be closing this down, and here we're going to open up rotation, and we're going to be keyframing the Y rotation here and set it to 180 degrees, and the particle look should be 0. Then you're going to go to the middle of your composition, and here you're going to set the Y rotation to 0 and the particle size to 95.2, and then we're going to go to the ending 3 seconds and set the particle size back to 0 and the Y rotation to minus 180 degrees. Now we're going to open up rotation, mark the keyframes, press F9 to ease them, and then open up the graph here. And here I'm going to set this one around something like this here, and drag this one there, and this one there, and drag this one to something like this. So it becomes faster in the beginning, slows down a little bit in the middle, and then ends fast. So something like that. And then you're going to do the same here with the particle look. You're going to mark the keyframes, press F9, open up the graph, and here the graph looks a little bit different than before, but now we're going to just drag this one up to something like that, and this one to something like that. So this is how your animation looks now, pretty clean. And now we're going to add some extra settings here in our element effect. So we're going to open up render settings, ambient occlusion, enable AO. Usually like to turn up the SSAO intensity to 50, then SSAO sample to 256, so it looks even more realistic. Then open up output and set the multi-sampling to 32 and the super sampling to 8. So get something like this here. And now when we are done with the skull animation here, we're going to be making the background for this. So we're going to right click here, press new, and then solid, and make a black solid again. Drag this one below, and you can make the skull invisible. And here on the background we're going to be starting off by adding VHS here, and it looks something like this. And you go to open up presets here and choose bad tracking, and you will get something like this here. And after that we're going to be adding an effect called threshold. It's going to look like this. We're going to set the level to 135, so this is how it looks. And then we're going to be adding glitchify to this. Going to be glitching here. So now we get the background texture like this here, and now we're done with the background, so we can add the skull back. And now we're going to be making a adjustment layer by pressing Ctrl Alt Y, and here I'm going to be adding Omino diffusion, and I'm going to be setting the error across to 0.7 and the error aside to 0.05, and then the color count should be 6, and the color 1 width is going to be 32. And we're going to be adding deep glow to this, and I'm going to set the radius here to 1012, and then I'm going to add smooth blending and set the threshold to 0 here as well. So this is how it looks. Then we're going to be adding a new adjustment layer, so we're going to press Ctrl Alt Y again, and here we're going to add 4 color gradient, and we're going to be using this green here. So you're going to copy this green to all of the other color positions and then set the blending mode to color. Pretty simple. Now it looks something like this here. Again, we're going to add the adjustment layer, Ctrl Alt Y. Here we're going to add pixel sorter, and I'm going to change the orientation to row, and then the threshold to 220. And now we're going to be making another adjustment layer, Ctrl Alt Y, and here we're going to be adding my CRT preset. So you're going to add that, and if you don't have this preset here, you can watch my CRT tutorial, which will be linked in the description, so you guys can go watch that and get this full preset here. But yeah, if you have the preset here, you're just going to change the center here to 960 on the X position, and then on the Y position we're going to set it to 540, and then we're going to increase the width from 2 here on the grid to 6, and on the height we're going to increase that from 4 to 12. It should look something like this here. If you guys already had the preset here and change the settings here, you guys can mark all the effects here, make a new preset, saving it again, in here, save animation presets, and then name it to CRT FHD, because this is for another resolution here, basically. So if you guys, want to use it for different composition settings, basically. And then we're going to be adding another adjustment layer, Ctrl-Alt-Y, and here we're going to add transform, just to increase the scale so it doesn't look so weird. 115 on the scale here. And now you should get something like this here, which I thought looked very cool. This matrix kinda looking skull here. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this tutorial, please like and subscribe. And if you guys have any new ideas on tutorials I can make, please comment that down below. And don't forget to check out my website, check out my socials, join my Discord server, and I will see you guys soon. Take care and have a nice day.